You know what? It's so much going on. Kisses to my subscribers. I love you guys so much. Thank you for your love and your support. Let's get to it. So I came on here to talk about Dan Wooton. And then the story became Dan Wooton. Then I was trying to find the video. Couldn't find the video of Dan Wooton that he did tonight. Came up and saw one on Piers Morgan. And Piers Morgan and Roseanne Barr. I wanted to do Roseanne Barr believe the stuff that she say. But anyway, word on the street is that she just went ballistic. But the bigger topic here is Dan Wooton's sex scandal, and the media is trying to take him down and stuff like that. It's something. I don't know all the details, but he's got his lawyers involved. And I like Dan Wooton. So I'm going to see what the verdict says. I'm going to give him the opportunity to figure out what's going on over there. In the meantime, he had a segment about how Meghan and Harry wanted a ride back to the United States after a funeral or after the Jubilee. And the White House turned around and said, no. But what idiot would ask to get on Air Force One? Why does she, obviously she thinks she's like this entitled person to have the audacity to ask the President of the United States to ride on his plane. First of all, you need to be invited. That is so tacky. And then number two is, who do you think you are that you should be on Air Force One? Getting a ride. That's that ghetto stuff. Nobody's running around talking about, hey, Joe, can I get a ride? Meghan became a star, and I believe some sales started frying. Because it don't make sense for her to be asking Joe Biden for a ride. You can't get a ride home? Word on the street is she asked for a ride home on the plane. It wouldn't even look right. It would have looked really weird if that had came across the news, CNN, Meghan and Harry on Air Force One coming back from the Queen's Jubilee. First of all, Air Force One is not a joyride. It's not a private jet. It is owned by the United States. It's owned by the government. It's stupid. Then what if they had died in a crash or something like that? The liability of it all. I mean, Meghan just doesn't think. If this is true. So one of the commentators on Dan Wooten's show, she was like, she didn't believe it. She said a whole bunch of stuff, and then she said she didn't believe it. And then the other commentator said, yeah, well, if it is true, it just goes to show you the entitlement that Meghan feels that she can just hop on Air Force One and get a ride to the crib. What I really want to talk about was what the other lady that was defending Meghan and Harry. She said some stupid stuff, and I really wanted you guys to hear it for yourself. Let me see if I can find it. I found it. Here we go. Let me start it from the beginning.
And breaking tonight, Harry and Meghan were denied a ride back to America with Joe Biden on US presidential plane Air Force One after the Queen's funeral last year. Their request was reportedly snubbed by the White House, laying bare the Sussexes' dwindling influence on the world stage. One connected source told the Daily Mail tonight it would have caused such a commotion, it would have strained relations with the palace and the new king. Months later, the pair were dumped from their £20 million Spotify deal and called grifters.
No way!
Fueling fares that the runaway royals are now sailing into worrying financial hardships. A source close to the pair told the New York Post's Page 6. They said
Page 6.
tremendous financial pressure to fund their lavish Californian lifestyle, including their
£14
£10.7 million property and huge security costs. The source added that stress, coupled with their emotional issues, has likely made life...
My battery's dead on my computer.
So what do you think?
Hopefully it won't cut off.
One Trick Ponies, Harry and Meghan, down at gbnews.com. Vote in our poll at GB News on Twitter. But doing battle on this now, Editor-in-Chief of Majesty magazine, Ingrid Stewart, and the social commentator, supporter of Harry and Meghan, Joanna, after the late Queen's funeral, and because he didn't want to annoy the royal family and King Charles, it didn't happen.
Well, I think that it shows the degree of self-entitlement that Harry and Meghan have, because they were friends of the Bidens, and Mrs. Biden was a supporter of the Invictus Games because she is the mother of a veteran, and she had supported Harry for 2 or 3 years, and hopefully they were expecting them both to carry on supporting. But what Harry and Meghan failed to consider is the effect that it might have politically. How could the Bidens possibly ask them on Air Force One when they have so publicly snubbed their own family? And I think they thought it wouldn't be a good... I don't think it was done unkindly. I think they just...
I don't either.
It's not a good idea.
It's just as stupid.
Come down on one side or the other. Let's just say...
No.
And they didn't personally have to say no. The White House just said, no way.
Yeah, well, DailyMail.com, Joanna, reporting tonight that the request received...
I like Dan Wooton. He asks the right questions. So he's saying that they're in financial situations make couples woohoo. And so he's basically asking her about their relationship. And this is what she says.
The couple are in financial dire straits, and actually now it sounds like they're deeply unhappy.
I don't necessarily think they're deeply unhappy, because this is what
they
wanted. They wanted a life in America.
That don't mean they're not deeply unhappy.
But I think things must be very difficult, and I think that there's so many rumours going around, and I totally agree with the other lady that you don't necessarily have to believe everything, but you have to apply logic to it. Obviously, they have a very expensive lifestyle. Obviously, things haven't gone well for them. Harry still has 6 court cases pending, which is pretty unpleasant for anyone.
2 hands.
And I just feel that they're fighting the world. And I don't think that's a happy situation to be in. And I don't actually think, yes, in answer to your question, I don't think Brexit has been the success that they hoped it would be.
Joanna Jaju, do you disagree?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a massive success. Obviously,
massive
in the road, and there haven't been short of people who definitely tried to sabotage them on their journey to freedom, for sure. But
anyway, she goes on to say that stupid stuff. They've had massive success. That's not success. Success is not. That's not a skill either. Success, okay, that stupid stuff. See, I wish they had me on there, because I would have said, wait a minute, how is this success? How is this a massive success? And it's not like their brand is built on trashing the royal family, so that makes them successful. She goes on to say that they made a whole bunch of money from Netflix and a whole bunch of money from Spotify, and it was a success. No, success is continuing to have a contract with these people and not bashing your family for success. Because that's not a talent. Anybody can go on TV and trash and start talking about their family and pretty much make a few dollars from it. But it takes a real talented person to do something talented on their own. And that's probably what she's trying to do, but that's not going to work. Because you're nothing without Harry. It's just not. But someone that's talented doesn't have to go on the Oprah show and trash their family. They just don't. And so that's not success. and getting money, saying that Netflix was the highest streaming something. Yep, for what, a couple of days? And then after people got the substance of the docuseries, they shut it down. People should still be watching this. People should be, oh, did you watch that show Megan had? It was wonderful. She's going to get an Emmy for it. It wasn't wonderful. It wasn't Emmy worthy. It was a bash-a-thon. And anything other than that, then I don't know what you're watching. So it's people like that that try to pretend like they ain't watching the same series we're watching. How is trashing your family successful? And how is trashing your family a brand? Because she talks about it. She says their brand, they've come over here and they built their brand, and you know, they're very successful. Netflix and Spotify. Dan Wooton and the other lady chuckled because it was funny to them because it wasn't successful. They were like, what is you watching? Didn't Netflix call them grifters? That's not being successful. And Netflix is just, word on the street is Invictus is canceled. And it wasn't because of the strike. You don't need writers to write about Invictus. You just need to have the story. This is them failing and making excuses for their failures. And I blame Megan is making the excuses because she's always got to look like she's the one that's doing great. But now that the world is crumbling because we see that it's no talent there, and you slither your way into the royal family by screwing Harry to death and making him fall in love with you. What an idiot. Out of all the women in the world, this is who you pick? Harry, this is to you. Out of all the women in the world, you decided to pick Megan. The one that tore you from your family, from your country, and made your life a living hell. We're hearing about it in the streets. Divorce. He said, and they're so quick. This is how I know it's true. Because anytime you got to rush out to defend yourself, never complain, never explain. You can just show them. Show us. And then next month, they'll be like, yeah, we're separating. We knew the month before when you were lying, talking about you wasn't. Now, when we're staying together, listen, they are together for stupid reasons only. They are not together as a couple. The honeymoon phase is over. They're brilliant. Don't say stupid stuff. They don't have a brand. Your brand cannot be trashing your family. How are you going to be successful with that? You can't continue to do it because people are in love with the royal family. And if you attack the things that people love, your popularity will keep going down. Obi Scobie. I know I mentioned this in my last post. Megan plays these games. And that was good. I'm not a, like, I thought I would be giving this to my husband. You know, I forgot what I was saying. This is going to be short. This is like a part 2 for tonight. I really wasn't even going to come on here. And then I got all confused with Dan Wooton's drama, you know, and that doesn't mean anything. Megan is still... But there's a lot of talk around Dan Wooton. I'm like, oh boy. And it's interesting that he came out with these statements. I don't think that I would talk about my situation in the content that he did. Like, he went on for like 7 minutes talking about it. I would have just said, listen, yes, I dated someone cuckoo and it didn't go well. I mean, he went into, he was a stalker and Dan Wooton's life was on the line and all this other stuff. And now they're out to sabotage him. My verdict is still out. I like Dan Wooton. Moving on from that. Oprah's in trouble. Before I got on here, there was 3 other channels talking about how she was a handler. I don't think this is good for Oprah. And I wonder, my Twitter users, because I'm not very good at Twitter, tell me what's trending. I don't really know. But let me know if you see the Mel Gibson, Oprah Winfrey. I know P. Dinah mentioned something about it. But I didn't know. But now that I saw a clip, they showed a clip, and Oprah Winfrey's name was at the top. And it talked about Oprah as if she knew something. They talked about the school, the scandal, and everything, and how she tried to cover it up. I'm going to dig deep into it, and I'm going to do a deep dive. But you guys got to be my eyes and ears if you want to hear what happened with the Oprah thing. Because Oprah, let me tell you something. Let me tell you what happened. She went after the wrong family. She went after the wrong interview. The wrong interview. Because she doesn't have support, especially from the UK. They don't really know her, and then they cut her off. In the United States, is starting to hear, oh, you know, okay, Oprah, there's some shady stuff going on. And there's a lot of people that have already been at Oprah's door, like Chappelle. Chappelle called her a handler. And now YouTuber changed stations in the U.S. I'm like, why is this coming up? I cannot, there's like new channels that are popping up on my feed and talking about Oprah Winfrey and Harvey Weinstein and talking about things of sex trafficking. And then one gentleman said, how you wonder how people made their money. Was Oprah's money always on the up and up? Or was she doing this to get billions? To be continued. I'm out of here, guys. Like I said, very short. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I think I'm done. Don't forget to hit like and leave a comment. This is short. This is just, I'm going to play it back to see if it's even worth you guys watching. But I really want to say this just in case it is. That I think, I want to say, I can't even say that I'm disappointed in Megan anymore, because she's the type of person that I would have never liked. I don't ever see myself changing the narrative and saying that this person is a great person. I used to think that. I used to think that, oh, maybe, and it was a long time ago. At one point, I was like, well, maybe she'll get, maybe during the coronation, she act a fool. Kisses.